Morning, YouTube. Got ourselves a little project today we're going to do. This is my old lawnmower, my backup one, and we were using it the other day, and I noticed the right side hydraulics just started to give out on me. So I decided we're going to need to replace the hydraulic pump. Hydraulic pumps are $650 a piece. For this one, they can go all the way up to $800. It's just not something I wanted to put into a spare lawnmower that we barely ever use, so I wanted to see if there was any way to replace the internal parts, and sure enough there was. On the side of the pump there's some reference numbers, part numbers, and a simple Google search found me a whole bunch of different stores that had replacement parts for this thing. So I took this pump apart already and found out what was wrong with it and ordered the parts. So today I'm going to show you just how to take the pump out of the machine, and then we're going to pull the pump apart. I'll show you the broken parts, and then hopefully we'll put them in today. So first thing you want to do with this thing is I took off the tire and removed the hydraulic lines from the wheel motor and put a pan underneath here to drain out the system, because it's a mess if you drain it out here. It just, I filled up that thing 4 times, I think it was, after I drained the system out through the wheel hub. So I don't know if that's what you want to do, but anyways, I drained all the fluid, and then next thing you want to do is crack these lines loose here. This one, this one, this one, and there's one under here. Then there's a linkage that goes from here up to the bar, and you can either unscrew it from the side here or unscrew it from there. I took mine completely apart because this machine creeps anyways and I have to make an adjustment. So, but if you don't want to have to make any adjustments, take it off from the pump and leave it in the machine, so then you can just put it back on and the settings are where it was. Now, underneath the machine, there's a pulley. Okay, this is the drive pulley. This is the pulley that the belt runs off the motor, or runs around these 2 pulleys and makes these pumps, you know, turn. So what you want to do is pull these pulleys off. You don't need a special tool or anything like that. All you got to do is pull these 2 bolts out here, put them in these 2 holes here. These holes are threaded. These holes are just open, and on the pulley there's threaded holes. So when you're putting the machine, or when the machine is together, these bolts run through here and screw into the pulley and draw everything together, tightening this up on the shaft. See that little slot there? Tightening up on the shaft, and then you're good. So when you want to take them out, you pull these bolts out here, screw them into these holes until they make contact with the pulley, and a little bit at a time, like a 1 turn on each of them. You turn one, and it'll push this plate, or push this deal away from the pulley. And as you know, 1 turn here, 1 turn here, and just keep going, this will finally just pop off. Then the pulley will come off. So once that's off, then you can take out the 2 bolts. There's one down here, boom, right there, and then there's one down in between here. Once those are off, and you have all these hoses off, you can pull the thing out. So I have these finger tight. We'll just pull this out real quick. You're going to want to have some sort of a catch pan, because these things will leak oil out of you. This one especially. All right, pull this one off here, this one off here, and this one off here. So I have everything out. We're gonna just pull this pump right out and put it on the bench. Get yourself a nice vise that you can hold this pump in here with, and tighten her down a little bit, and we're good to go. 10mm wrench pulls these bolts out. What you'll notice is this top piece here is spring loaded. There's what's called a cylinder block inside, and it's got these pistons, and these pistons are on springs. Okay, so this thing just, well, it's actually upside down, it's this direction, but it compresses the springs down when you put this on. So just take these bolts off. You can leave one on tight, take the other 3 out, and then just start backing the last one off nice and slow. It's not going to come apart on you. The springs are completely loose before you're even close to taking the thing off, so don't be worried about that. Let's take this off real quick. I'll show you what we got inside. Okay, once the bolts are out, you can see that it's spring loaded. This goes right down there and the bolts go in. So you can pop this off right now. Just be careful in case anything sticks to it. Pop that off. What you're going to have inside here is an O-ring. I ordered a seal kit, so I'll have all those O-rings. Underneath here, well, there's a bearing in here. The bearing is good, but underneath here is another seal. We're going to take that out. And these are the parts that are worn out. If you'll notice, this thing here, this is called the valve plate, okay? It's supposed to be really, really smooth, okay? You know, just really, really, really smooth. And the top part is, that shiny spot there is just shiny. It's not really a groove or anything. But if you flip it over, you can see that it's just absolutely just ground right down. And this is the problem that we were having. Okay, so I know I needed one of those. And when I looked at the cylinder block, this tolerance here, this metal right here, I think is supposed to be a little bit taller. I think it actually got ground down. So I decided I was going to order one of these too. I'll pull this out real quick and you'll see all the pistons and springs are just going to kind of stay there. They're all kind of stuck in oil. But anyway, so I ordered one of these. When I ordered that thing, it comes with all new pistons and springs, so that's good. So let's just pop these out real quick. Let's put these back in here just to store them. Okay, so that's the old one here. Here's the new stuff. New cylinder block, and you can see that the metal is a lot deeper, and those are oil passages. So I needed a new one of these, and you can see the new valve plate is nice and smooth with no grooves on either side. And if you're worried about how to go up, they come with a deal here. It tells you which way is up, so we're good to go with that. Inside here you have, this is your forward and reverse, and what it does is it moves this plate around, okay? So we're going to pop that plate out, and underneath here there is a washer and a set of bearings. Mine are good, so I'm not even going to replace those. Like I said, I'm just doing this just to get this mower running again. It's not going to be a full-time machine. I don't care if there's a little bit of play in it whatsoever, but I just don't want it to be, you know, just broken like the other one. So we're going to pull these things out here. I kind of need two hands for this. Hang on. Okay, pulled the parts out. What you're going to want to do is when you take them out of here, just flip them over and put them on the bench in the direction you took them out, so then you won't have an issue putting them back in. So this is that I don't know if this is the wobble plate or not, but this is the part that I pulled out. And as you can see, the bearings are, you know, they're worn, but they're not grooved or anything. And like I said, this machine isn't going into full service. It's just a spare backup every once in a while. So I wasn't going to replace every single thing in the mower and spend, you know, $500–600 on replacing everything. So I just decided I was going to replace the broken parts, the worn out parts, and we should be good to go. The other one, the other side, I'm sure is probably on its way out if this one already went. So when I order parts for that side, if I notice any difference on this side, maybe I will, you know, get the parts that I need. There's a bearing surfaces in here. You see the discoloration, that's worn down a little bit. But, you know, like I said, who knows how bad, but whatever. We're gonna replace it if we need it later. This thing is really easy to take apart. So down in here, on the other side of the shaft is a bearing, and on the other side of that is the seal. And I believe that's where our problem was, because when I looked inside this thing, it wasn't milky, but when it sat over the winter, some water seeped in and actually got into this spring here. And this spring, can't really tell on the camera. Oh, yeah, you can right there. You see how it's rusty? So it's all rusty and pitted like that. I believe that some of that rust and pitting got into this pump, got in between this plate and the cylinder, or the block, and that's where our problem was. So I'll have the whole. I already cleaned out the system, and you know, obviously it didn't help. So we're gonna make sure that we clean it out again and put the new parts in here and make sure there's no contaminants in here, and we should be good to go. So let's look through what we got. You know, I already showed you this thing. This is the new one. The wear plate, that's new. And then this whole seal kit. I have no idea how much of these we're going to use, but it's got every single seal that you need in here to replace this thing. And like I said, this is pretty cheap. So for $120, I think, $120 I paid for all this stuff. You got the valve plate and the seal kit. That's the valve plate, that's the seal kit. And my total with tax was only just about 60 bucks. The new cylinder block kit came with those pistons. Like I said, I probably didn't need them, but it came with them, so whatever. That was a little expensive, but not too bad. $68.30. You know, these shipped out 2 days after I paid for them, and they're in my mailbox, so it was good to go. So turnaround time is pretty good. Yeah, so let's start putting this thing together. All right, we're back together a little bit here. What I first did was I knocked this shaft out through the bottom. Just put the nut back on here and hit it with a rubber mallet, and this just pops out, brings a bearing with it. Put the new seal on it, put it back in. I didn't show that to you because I just kind of forgot. But anyways, put the new cylinder block in. I got the new plate on here, the new spring and washer that went in there, and this new O-ring that goes around here. So what we're going to do now is take this apart, take this piece off here, and get this one out of here so we can replace it with this one, because I think this was leaking, and that's where we're going to have the problem. So let's get this apart. Okay, so that's done. One thing you got to be careful of, though, is there's this little spring right here, and when you pop this top off, sometimes that spring goes flying. So just be careful. Take off the top nice and easy, and the spring will stay there. These guys, look here, they look pretty good, so I'm not changing them. Obviously, I didn't buy them. Came with a new O-ring for in here, and this seal on the back here. This is the part that I think was the problem. That's what brought the water in, that made the rust. So replace that seal. Now we're going to put it back together and reinstall this on the pump. Okay, I got it back together. Put a new seal in here, new seal on the bottom, new O-ring here, and another O-ring here. That guy there, that seal. Put a little bit of oil inside here to just kind of, so there was kind of like a bath when it went in there. And I'm ready to install it back on the machine. Fill it up with oil and see if it works. So stand by. All right, there it is, back in. Dirty, filthy, nasty, oily stuff. I'll get that all cleaned up, but pump is in, tires on. Give her a shot, see what we got here. Forward, took the creep out of it, and reverse. Looks like it's good. No whining on the pump or anything. Everything sounds good. Take it out for a cut. See how we do.